Hello, beautiful damsels. In a world obsessed with fitting in, Sigma females stand as the outliers, bold, unapologetic, and utterly unconcerned with the social norms that bind others. They are enigmas, navigating life on their terms, often leaving those around them perplexed and intimidated. But why do these women, who seem to have it all together, often find themselves without friends? The answer is not what you'd expect. It's a harsh truth, layered with complexities that go far beyond mere choice. Prepare yourself to delve into the psyche of a Sigma female, where independence reigns supreme, and the cost of self-sufficiency is a solitary road paved with unyielding strength. Number 1. They are not just interested in relationships aren't their end game. Sigma females aren't in the game of collecting friendships like some kind of social currency. They're not interested in forming relationships just to tick off a box on some unwritten societal checklist. If a friendship doesn't bring real value, they're perfectly fine without it. For a Sigma female, relationships are not the main course. They're more like a side dish, and only if it complements the main event, which is their own growth, purpose, and goals. It's not that they're antisocial or incapable of connection. They just don't see the point in relationships that don't elevate them in some meaningful way. While others might cling to friendships out of habit or fear of being alone, Sigma females see through that charade. They'd rather walk their path solo than be weighed down by superficial connections. It's not arrogance. It's just an unwavering focus on what truly matters to them. They're like those rare limited edition items. You don't just stumble upon them. You have to be worthy of their presence. So when faced with the choice of having a social circle or staying true to themselves, they'll pick self-respect every time. They don't need a bunch of people around to feel validated. Their sense of self is built on solid ground, not the shaky foundation of other people's opinions. In their world, less really is more, and if that means fewer friendships, so be it. Number 2. Sigma females don't care what anyone thinks of them. 0 F's given about opinions. Sigma females have mastered the art of not giving a single thought to what others think of them. It's not that they're being rebellious or trying to be different. They genuinely couldn't care less about society's opinions. While others might lose sleep over a side-eye glance or a snarky comment, Sigma females are busy living their lives on their terms, completely unbothered by the noise. Their indifference is like a superpower. When most people are sweating over fitting in, Sigma females are out there being unapologetically themselves, as if the world's judgments are just background static. They know that trying to please everyone is a losing game, so they don't even bother playing. This attitude frees them from the exhausting cycle of trying to be someone they're not, which ironically makes them even more magnetic. People are drawn to their authenticity, even if they don't quite understand it. But here's the catch. This level of not caring also means they're not going to adjust themselves to fit into anyone else's comfort zone. If someone finds them too blunt, too independent, or too mysterious, that's not the Sigma female's problem. She's not going to dilute herself for the sake of making friends or keeping peace. This can leave others feeling unsettled or even threatened, which naturally thins out their social circle. But that's just fine with them. Sigma females are perfectly okay with having a smaller, more authentic circle, or even none at all, because they'd rather be alone than surrounded by people who don't get them. Number 3. Sigma. Females can see through people, masters of deception detection. Sigma females have a knack for seeing right through people, and it's almost like they have a built-in radar for detecting nonsense. While others might get caught up in someone's charm or well-crafted persona, Sigma females are busy peeling back the layers to see what's really underneath. It's not that they're suspicious by nature. They've just learned that most people have a tendency to wear masks, and they've got no time for the theatrics. This ability to see through people can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it protects them from getting too close to those who don't have their best interests at heart. They can spot fake friends from a mile away, and they're not afraid to walk away from anyone who doesn't measure up. On the other hand, it can make it difficult for others to get close. When you're constantly being evaluated by someone who seems to know your intentions better than you do, it's easy to feel exposed, maybe even a little vulnerable. And let's be honest, most people aren't too keen on feeling like they're being X-rayed every time they talk to someone. But for Sigma females, this isn't about playing detective or being overly critical. It's about protecting their energy and only investing in relationships that are real and meaningful. They're not going to waste time on someone who's all smoke and mirrors. If someone isn't genuine, they'll be shown the door before they even know what hit them. This leaves Sigma females with fewer, but far more authentic connections. People who've passed the test and proven they're worth keeping around. Number 4, Sigma females are not afraid of missing out. No FOMO, no problem. Sigma females don't lose a wink of sleep over the fear of missing out. While everyone else is scrambling to be part of the latest social trend or glued to their phones to keep up with what others are doing, Sigma females are blissfully indifferent. They're not about to chase after every invitation or event just because they might miss something. If anything, they find peace in skipping the noise and drama that often comes with being in the crowd. Their indifference to FOMO comes from a deep understanding that not everything is worth their time or energy. They don't feel the need to be everywhere or know everyone because they're too busy focusing on what truly matters to them. Instead of worrying about what they might be missing, they prioritize their own growth, interests, and passions. It's not that they're antisocial, they just don't see the point in filling their time with activities that don't align with their goals or bring them joy. This mindset naturally weeds out superficial friendships. If someone can't handle the fact that a Sigma female might prefer a quiet night of self-reflection over a night out, then that person likely wasn't going to be a lasting friend anyway. Sigma females aren't afraid to say no, even if it means they'll be out of the loop on the latest gossip or trend. For them, quality always trumps quantity, and they'd rather miss out on something trivial than compromise on their own well-being or values. Now, damsels, if you're enjoying the ride so far, why not stick around for more? Hit that subscribe button and join the adventure. There's plenty more where this came from. At number 5, other people find Sigma females intimidating. Intimidation without trying. Sigma females have this uncanny ability to intimidate people without even trying. It's not that they're out there trying to scare anyone off, quite the opposite. Their presence alone, with all its confidence and self-assuredness, can make others feel uneasy. There's something about the way they carry themselves, a quiet strength that says, "I don't need anyone's approval," that throws people off balance. This intimidation factor isn't about being unapproachable or cold. It's more about the sheer force of their independence. Sigma females don't rely on others for validation, and that can be unsettling for people who are used to the typical social dynamics where everyone's seeking some kind of approval. When faced with someone who genuinely doesn't care about fitting in, it's easy for others to feel a bit out of their depth. They might even mistake a Sigma female's calm confidence for arrogance, which only adds to the distance. What's more, Sigma females don't sugarcoat things or play the social games that many people are accustomed to. They say what they mean and mean what they say, which can be a refreshing change or a shocking one, depending on the person. This straightforwardness can catch people off guard, and when you combine that with their natural independence, you've got a recipe for intimidation. People often find themselves either in awe of the Sigma female or unsure of how to approach her, which can lead to fewer friendships but deeper respect. Number 6. Sigma females don't need to prove their worth. No need to prove anything. Sigma females don't feel the need to walk around proving their worth to anyone. They know who they are and what they bring to the table, and they're not about to waste time convincing others of their value. While some people might go out of their way to showcase their achievements or seek constant validation, Sigma females are too busy doing their own thing to bother with all that. Their self-worth isn't something that needs a public announcement. It's quietly understood, like an unspoken rule. This attitude can be a little disarming to others, especially in a world where so many people are conditioned to measure themselves by external approval. Sigma females don't need to flaunt their success or drop hints about how great they are. They're content with their own company, their own achievements, and their own sense of purpose. If someone doesn't recognize their value, it's no skin off their back. They're not here to impress anyone. But here's where it gets interesting. This lack of need for validation can sometimes make others feel insecure. When you're around someone who's so comfortable in their own skin, it can shine a spotlight on your own insecurities. People might feel like they have to work harder to prove themselves in the Sigma female's presence, which can create a bit of a social divide. But for Sigma females, that's just how the cookie crumbles. They're not about to change who they are to make others more comfortable. Their worth isn't up for debate, and they're not seeking anyone's permission to be themselves. Number 7. Sigma females are mysterious and elusive, mysterious by design. Sigma females have a way of being mysterious and elusive that keeps people guessing. It's not that they're playing hard to get. They just naturally operate on a need-to-know basis, and most people simply don't need to know. They don't spill their life story to everyone they meet, and you won't catch them oversharing on social media. This aura of mystery isn't an act, it's just who they are. They value their privacy and understand the power of keeping a few cards close to their chest. This elusiveness makes them incredibly intriguing, but it also means that forming close friendships isn't easy. People often want to dig deeper to understand what makes a Sigma female tick, but they'll only get as close as she allows. And let's just say she doesn't hand out all access passes easily. There's always that sense that there's more to her than meets the eye, but good luck trying to figure out exactly what that is. Because of this, others might find it difficult to connect with her on a deeper level. It's not that she's closed off, she just doesn't see the need to be an open book for everyone. Only a select few get to see behind the curtain. And even then, there's always a part of her that remains just out of reach. This makes her a bit of an enigma, someone who can't be easily categorized or understood. People are drawn to her because of the mystery, but that same mystery can create a distance that's hard to bridge. And honestly, she's perfectly okay with that. She'd rather be a puzzle than something easily figured out. Number 8. Sigma females always observe when they are in a new environment, observant to a fault. When a Sigma female steps into a new environment, she doesn't just dive in head first. Instead, she observes. Quietly, keenly, and with a sharp eye for detail, she takes everything in. It's almost like she's got this internal radar that scans the room, picking up on all the subtle cues most people overlook. While others might be busy trying to make an impression or jump into conversations, she's already figured out who's genuine, who's putting on a show, and where she fits into the mix, if she even wants to. This approach might come off as aloof to some, but it's really just a smart way of navigating new spaces. Sigma females aren't about to rush into anything blindly. They're strategic, preferring to understand the lay of the land before making any moves. It's not that they're shy or standoffish. They're just cautious, ensuring they're not wasting energy on situations or people that don't align with who they are. This habit of observation also means they're not easily swayed by first impressions. They don't get caught up in surface-level appearances or flashy personalities. Instead, they're more interested in what lies beneath the surface. This makes them incredibly discerning, which can be both fascinating and intimidating to others. It's hard to hide your true self when a Sigma female is in the room, because chances are she's already seen through any facades. And while this might make her seem a bit distant at first, it's just her way of ensuring she's investing her time and energy wisely. By the time she decides to engage, she already knows who's worth her attention and who isn't. It's a methodical, almost surgical way of interacting with the world, and it's one of the reasons why Sigma females are so hard to fool. They've observed, assessed, and only then do they act. Always with purpose, always with precision. Number 9. Sigma females are self-sufficient to the core. Sigma females are the masters of self-sufficiency, and they've taken the "I've got this" mantra to a whole new level. They don't just manage on their own, they thrive on it. Whether it's handling a crisis, pursuing their passions, or simply getting through the day, they've got the skills and mindset to do it all without needing a backup plan or a shoulder to lean on. This level of independence can be both impressive and a bit bewildering to those who are used to leaning on others for support. For Sigma females, relying on someone else is more of a last resort than a first choice. They've got their systems, routines, and strategies finely tuned, and they don't see the need to ask for help unless it's absolutely necessary. It's not about pushing people away. It's about making sure they don't have to compromise their autonomy. Their self-sufficiency means they don't have to navigate the social minefield of constant interaction or dependence. They're not waiting around for someone to rescue them from boredom or handle their problems. They've got it covered. This can make them seem like solitary figures, but in reality, they're just incredibly adept at taking care of themselves. They don't need a crowd to feel complete, and they're perfectly content carving out their own path. In social settings, this can be a double-edged sword. While their independence is a sign of strength, it can also make others feel a bit redundant. People might find themselves wondering if they're even needed in a Sigma female's life, which can lead to a sort of social estrangement. In a world where fitting in often feels like the ultimate goal, Sigma females remind us that there's a different, powerful way to live. Their absence of traditional friendships isn't a void. It's a testament to their self-sufficiency, their ability to see through facades, and their unshakable independence. They don't need a crowd to validate their worth or to fill their lives with meaning. Instead, they forge their own paths, relying on their inner strength and authenticity. So while others might chase after social acceptance or scramble to be part of every gathering, Sigma females quietly demonstrate that true contentment comes from within. They may not have a bustling social circle, but they have something far more valuable: the freedom to live on their own terms. Their choice to embrace solitude rather than superficial connections is not just a lifestyle, it's a powerful statement of self-respect and self-awareness. And in that, there's a lesson for us all. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in walking your own path, undeterred by the noise around you. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye for now, and stay blessed.